Now, what I am commanding you today is not too difficult for you or beyond your reach. It is not up in heaven so that you have to ask who will ascend into heaven to get it and proclaim it to us that we may obey it, nor is it beyond the sea so that you have to ask who will cross the sea and get it and proclaim it so that we may obey it. No, the word is very near to you. In fact, it's in your mouth and it's in your heart that you may obey it. See, I set before you today life and prosperity, death and destruction. For I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to Him, to keep His commandments, decrees and laws. Then you will live and increase. And the Lord your God will bless you in the land you're in. But if your heart turns away and you're not obedient, if you're drawn away and bow down to other gods and worship them, I declare to you this day, you will certainly be destroyed. You will not live long in the land you're crossing the Jordan to live in. This day, I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you, here's the verses, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now, choose life, that you may love the Lord your God, listen to His voice, and hold fast to Him. For the Lord is your life, and He will give you many years in the land He swore to give your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Stephanie, right before the offering, you get up and talk about your deal, okay? Because I forgot you, I apologize. I just saw you. Don't let me forget Stephanie. She's awesome. She helps in this camp for kids who have cancer. So, we'll get you. Okay, the day for dads is here. Moms are a little easier to shop for, aren't they? Cards, flowers. Dads, we're a little more diverse, aren't we? I prefer Twinkies over flowers. I'll just be very honest. I am such an easy dad to shop for. My kids have it made. I hunt, I fish, I golf, and I like meat. How easier could it get than that? In fact, Laura and I had Taco Thursday the other day, and she said, we need some taco ingredients. I went to the store. She said, Matt, I need some lettuce. That's the first time I've ever bought lettuce in my life. I'll be honest. I had a head of cabbage in my hand. I really didn't know. I'm thinking, this feels awful tight and heavy for lettuce. That's the first time in 51 years I've ever bought lettuce. For our dads, whether they're here with us or they're no longer here, every time we do something that they taught us, every time we do something that they showed us, or when we teach our kids something that they taught us and we're teaching our kids to do it, it's like they're always with us, right? As long as we keep doing and teaching what they taught us to do, it's like they're always with us. So here's what I want to preach on. One of the things I did not realize when I became a dad years ago was this deep responsibility of this verse where it says, choose life. I set before you life and death. I set before you blessings and curses. And Moses said, choose life. Years ago when I became a father, I didn't really realize the deep responsibility about our kids and choosing life. I was more worried about the finances. Can we afford this? Can I afford any of this? I was worried about that me and the kids would be living out of my car because we had nowhere to live and we'd run out of money and we live out of my car. I was always worried about food. Will I have enough food to feed my kids? Will they go hungry? That is why, to be quite frank with you, and I'll warn you if you ever come and eat at my house, if I drop food on the floor, we eat it. We don't go away. Well, not this house, but I just put it like this. If you ever came down to the trailer, and that's why I did that. One time my daughter was watching me grill, she said to me, she goes, you know, Dad, what in the world? I'm like, well, first of all, the flames will sear out any properties that the meat is picked up, like the dog hair will burn that off. And the second thing I said is and I told my daughter this just about a year ago. I said, if you knew all the food that I dropped on the floor and you wound up eating, you'd be shocked, because you never knew. Because if we had like 6 hot dogs and one was, I knew which one it was, I just didn't tell you. So, but it's more out of survival. It's more out of, you know, we can't lose that hot dog. We're hungry. But here's one that I did not realize I was doing, and I want to use the word this morning. It's a popular word, everybody uses it now. It's the word narrative. You read a lot on the news, don't you? The word narrative. The word narrative. Do you know what they're talking about when they say the word narrative? Do you get that? I'm going to explain it to you real easy. The word narrative just simply means story. That's the story. When people say, what's the narrative, or you're controlling the narrative, or we're losing the narrative, narrative just simply means what's the story. The story that's being told and the story that's being written. Like, for instance, you've seen movies or whatever, there's a narrator, there's a guy or a lady, they're talking, they're narrating the story. Remember? Greatest narrator of all time. Who was it? Waylon Jennings. Dukes of Hazzard, right? Hey! Sit down over there. Hey, was that you? Remember? He narrated the story for you, tell you what Waterloo we're up to. Here's where we need to be careful and responsible as dads, as moms, as grandpas, as grandmas, as aunts and uncles, and so forth. Here's where we need to be careful with this narrative. Is we need to be careful with the narrative that we are creating in our kids. Because in the beginning, when our kids are little, in the beginning, when they're small, as parents, we are writing the narrative. We are writing the story. It's us writing the story. And then as they get older, we turn the story over to them. But when they're little, we are writing the story. We are creating the narrative. Great example. How many moms over the years have been called into the office because little Jimmy said a terrible word on the playground? And how many moms said to the principal, they didn't hear that word from us. They didn't hear that word home. Little Jimmy must have picked that up at your place, on your playground, under your care. And then you go home and Dad's in the garage using that word every 20 minutes. Working on the car, skinning a deer, whatever. That's the narrative. In other words, you are writing a story. When the kids are little, you are writing their story. You are writing a narrative. You are controlling a narrative. Then one day, they get to finish the story. They pick up the story themselves, but it's already been written. It's already been started, and you have to be careful how we're starting this thing, this story. Here's the problem. If we give them a good narrative, if we give them a good story, then the story ends well. If we give them a bad story, if we start them out with a bad narrative, sometimes the story doesn't end very well. So it's important how we start the story. It can affect the rest of their lives. Okay? The story that we start can affect, or something that's happened to us in life, it's caused us as people, as humans, it's caused us to live a certain way or do something a certain way because we're still being affected by somebody affecting our story. This happened to me. You know what? I've told this story a couple times. This is the last time I'm ever going to tell this story. This is the last time. I was Bill and Sherry Lady's daughter, Jamie. She's a real estate agent. I'm sitting on my porch. We're getting ready to sell the trailer. She and I are sitting on the porch together. And I made the comment, I told the story about how in 5th grade, my 5th grade teacher told me I would not amount to a hill beans. I have told that story. That's bothered me for years. Jake Koerner looks at me and says, Matt, I think you've worn that story out. I think it's about time you ditched that story and did another one. She said, quite frankly, I'm kind of tired of hearing it. And she's right. She's absolutely right. It's time to lose that. We allow others to form and to control our stories. And at 51, I'm still allowing it. I'm still allowing it for someone else to write my story. I'm still, at 51, I'm still allowing someone else from years ago who wouldn't even remember me to write my story. My story is being affected by what happened that long ago. And it's time to end that. When I see parents berating their kids, when I see parents telling their kids that they're dumb, when I see kids being bullied, they're told they're ugly or fat or weird. I've been called all those things. I turned out okay. People are forcing the narrative on a lot of people. They're forcing it. They're forcing the story. And here's all we can do. God said, you can either choose life or you can choose death. He said you can either choose to be blessed or you can either choose to be cursed. It's up to you. You have to make the choice. You have to make the choice to do these things. Do I choose between good or do I choose the bad? And I have to say to myself, what is controlling me? Who's controlling my narrative that they have no business controlling my story? Years ago, there was a young man. He was in Bible college. He was in Bible college to be a minister. And one of his professors told him, I don't know if you quite got what it takes to do this. Maybe you should reconsider doing this. You know who that was? Billy Graham. I think he turned out okay. I think he did just fine. In other words, he did not allow that person to control his future or to control things. And here's my question to you. The words that come out of you and the words that we say, are they blessings or are they curses? Are you blessing people or are you cursing people? Are you building people up or are you tearing people down? Whose narrative are you controlling with your words? You have to be very careful. Now this is a story I love telling. I'm going to tell it a lot because I love it. My daughter Victoria, in the summer before she started college, was signing up for classes. And she said, Dad, I'm thinking about taking a foreign language this fall. And I said, that's really cool because I don't know a foreign language. And she said, I'm thinking about taking Spanish or maybe British. I said, really? British? I said, just think, Vic. You speak English and British, you're already bilingual. See? I kind of thought she meant she's going to talk like those people on TV with little cups of tea and that. But I chose to give not curses, but blessings. And we choose life or we choose blessings. And no matter how old we get, no matter how old you are or no matter how old you get, we still allow people to write our narrative. And we need to stop it. We need to stop it. Has anybody ever looked at you and said, you're just a loser? What are you going to do about it? You going to let them write your story? Anybody ever looked at you and they just didn't care for the way you looked or the way you dressed or the way you talked? You going to let them write your story? parents started my story, and I get to finish my story because I'm trying to let God write my story. That God writes my story with faith. As dads and moms and grandpas and everything, we have to choose blessings in life. I was at a golf tournament when my son was in high school. He played high school golf, and he was in regional sectionals. He was in sectionals, and he was playing. There was a playing. He had I think there were 4 in a group, and he had a playing partner and another guy who was playing. The kid was like his dad, and I were kind of walking together a little bit, and all of a sudden, and I'll be honest, Nathan was never in the running for it. He was just out there having a good time, and he was never in the lead or anything. So we're just enjoying the day. And the other father was watching his son. He was in the lead, and then he lost the lead, and he lost the lead pretty bad. And that father could not watch what was going on. He left. I thought, the narrative you just wrote was, when the bad times hit, I'm out of here. As long as you're playing good and life's good, I'll be here. Oh, as long as you're hitting the ball well and you're in the lead, I'll cheer you on. But as soon as you're down by 6 strokes, I'm out of here. That's the narrative that Father was writing. He didn't even realize that. I'm telling my kids, as soon as things get rough, as soon as the tough gets going, I'm out of here. Be careful of the narratives you're writing for your kids and your grandkids, your neighbor kids, your nephews. Be careful. Give them blessings. Give them blessings and not curses. I'll close with this. It was 1985. My dad and I are on the back porch. And my dad could really shoot. Okay. And he taught me how to shoot, taught me how to hunt, taught me how to fish. In fact, when the zombie thing hits, you want to be with me, okay? Rick Grimes has got nothing on me, okay? In fact, he's leaving this season. They talked about me taking his place. My dad could really shoot, okay? So we're on the back porch. My dad and I are on the back porch one day. I had my 22 rifle, my 22 lever action rifle. I said, Dad, watch this. I took a candle, put it out in the yard. It was a real calm day, there was no wind. I lit that candle, I walked back, took my rifle. I shot the wick out on that candle. I shot that 22, that flames went out. And I walked over to it, I shot the wick out on the candle. At that point, my dad knew that I had become a better shot than he ever was. At that moment, he knew that what he taught me, I had taken to a whole new level. And I had actually become better at the things that he taught me to do. Fast forward to last Monday. Playing golf with Nathan. Out at Ambrier on the back 9. We're the only ones out there. I haven't played with Nathan for 2 years. Yeah. He hits the ball further than I could ever dream. He plays better. Oh dear. I was kind of hanging with him a little bit. And we're on the blue tees, which is the tees right before the back tees. We're on the blue tees. I'm hanging with him just to look for a couple holes. And he says to me, yeah, I played. He goes, yeah, these tees are a little different for me because I usually play the champion tees, the back. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I shot a -3 from the back tees there. I have never shot, you know how you all say subpar for bad things? Subpar's good, okay? You right, gang? Dennis, if you go I know people say, oh, that chicken was subpar. That chicken must have been really good, because if you go subpar, it's really good. So I just want to, that's a teaching moment for a second. But anyway, he clobbers me, okay? I'm not even keeping score anymore. He's keeping score. I've never shot below par, even if I cheated. I've never come close. Does it count when you lose your ball and nobody notices you just dropped it? That's not a penalty, is it? If nobody sees it, does it count? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, does anybody hear it? If Matt loses the ball on the creek at Annbriar and nobody sees it, does it count? Even with the cheating, I couldn't beat him. And we get to the end of it, we get to the 18th hole, he has trounced me, and I know I can't out-drive him, I can't out-putt him, and all of a sudden I had the dad moment. Oh, this is just like me shooting a wick out of a candle. He has taken what I taught him to a whole other level that I could never dream of attaining. And that's what we should wish for all our kids. That they could take what we taught them and they take it to a whole level beyond what we could ever imagine or ever accomplish. And if we do that for if each generation does that, oh my, what a group of people we're going to have. Choose life. Choose. Did you hear the word choose? Did you hear it? Choose life. Choose blessings. Choose it. Happy Father's Day. Let's pray. Father, dear Heavenly Father, you set before us the ways of life and death. You set before us good and evil. You set before us blessings and curses. You can't force us to choose one. It's our choice. So, Father, in life, no matter how old we get, no matter how old we are, we're still allowing other people to write our narratives. Please help us to stop that and to choose life. And thank you for our dads. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.